To have a chest or to not have a chest? Now that is the question. Slightly different angle of my flat, and also, sorry, the washing machine is going. Ignore her, she is a main character. She will start screaming in a bit. Hi, I'm Dee, my pronouns are they, them, but I also go by any pronouns. And today I want to talk about my chest and my chest tattoos because it has been a source of conversation online recently, which makes zero sense. But here I am, sharing my thoughts on my chest and chest tattoos. Also, I'm going to start by saying I don't have to make this video. I don't have to talk about my chest in this way. However, I want to talk about my chest in this way because my chest and me have had an on and off relationship forever. And sometimes I love her, sometimes I hate her. Sometimes I wish I could just, turn them and remove them for a little bit, like a light bulb or something. Screw them back in whenever I want them. Today I want to talk about my relationship with my chest as a non-binary individual, why I've chosen to get tattoos, what kind of things I'm thinking about for the future in regards to top surgery and all that jazz. Firstly, I want to talk about my relationship with my chest. Ever since I was a young individual, I hated my chest. At the very beginning, when I first started to develop, I didn't want anything there. I was one of the boys. I didn't know what this was. And I remember distinctly asking my mum, why do none of my other friends have this going on? And that's when she explained, the classic, oh, this is who you are, this is your body. And I was like, hell no, I don't want that, periods. What are you talking about? And then I headed into secondary school, which if you are from the UK, that is a dreaded place. It is hell on earth. And I was severely bullied for being part of the itty bitty titty committee, which now I absolutely love. I'm so grateful that I have so much fluidity when it comes to my chest, that I can bind very easily, that I don't have to bind sometimes and it still looks rather flat. But growing up in a UK school just made me hate my chest. So for a very long time I did buy Primark stuffed bras and padded bras and would stuff them further with tissues and socks. Yes, I admit that, okay? I did that. We all did it. Then later on in my teens, I started to have questions about my gender identity and I didn't feel like a girl and I didn't like my chest. So I started to bind in private. Now, I didn't have the right materials or resources to bind. So what I just did was I wore various layers of t-shirts to the point that it would, flatten me. Sports bra after sports bra, t-shirt, 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 that kind of thing. Again, that felt right for a little bit of time, but then it also didn't because sometimes I did like my chest, sometimes I didn't want to bind. So I was just in this state of, why do I sometimes like my chest and sometimes don't? Does everyone experience this? Clearly not, because I had no representation of this online anywhere. I had no representation of this in my friends, in my family. Everybody just either liked their chest or didn't like their chest. There was no in between. Lockdown happened. Yay! Everybody hates when I bring up lockdown because lockdown for me was a time where I really explored my expression and gender identity. People don't like that because the misconception that lockdown did something to our brains. It did something to my brain. It allowed me to actually explore myself without society putting pressures on me. So I'm very grateful for the time I spent in lockdown questioning myself and exploring my identity because I wouldn't be the person I am today, and I love this person. So if you hate it, I'm sorry. But during lockdown, there was this wave of the sex positive movement. I saw it so much on Instagram, and through this sex positive movement were a lot of individuals talking about their chest and just, letting their chest be, not wearing bras, not wearing anything, just, showing their nipples through their shirts. And I loved that because I didn't want to have to deal with wearing padded bras or bras in general, but I also didn't know if I wanted to bind every day. So just letting them be was the best option for me because they were just there and it didn't matter because they were just there. So yeah, I was part of the free the nipple movement for a little bit. I never used to wear bras. My mum used to absolutely hate it. She would always say, but your nipples are on show. And I would say, that's the point. And at this time, I also did have my nipples pierced. So it just kind of felt right to have my nipples on show because I wanted to show them off. Then again, dysphoria raised its ugly head and I started to feel uncomfortable with my chest again. And this is when I started to research and look into the correct ways of binding, of taping. That's when I first bought my first binder. And that was an experience that I documented online, and it was such an amazing feeling to put a binder on for the first time and to feel my chest so flat. Then a few months later I tried trans tape for the first time, and I absolutely loved that. Yes, it kind of gives me sensory issues sometimes. It is really difficult to take off and leaves a sticky residue, which if you have sensory like me, it is awful. However, because you can leave the tape on for several days, it means that I don't have to bother with my chest, which is such a lovely feeling. And that brings me to today. I'm still in the mindset of sometimes I like my chest just being my chest, just being there without any kind of support or any sort of binding, because I don't care, because my chest doesn't equal my gender. But then some days I do want to bind and I do want to tape, because it does make me feel better about my identity. It does make me feel euphoric in my body, and it does remove some of that dysphoria I have around my chest. And because I'm very fluid between the two, it's meant that I've questioned whether I want top surgery or whether I don't, because what happens if I get top surgery and some days I do like my chest and I wish it was there, but if I don't get top surgery and, you know, I regret it in the future, what do I do then? Do I just bind for the rest of my life? These are obviously questions that I really have to sit down with myself before I, you know, go ahead on that journey. And that's why I haven't jumped into that yet. But a way that I've been able to affirm my identity and to feel good in my body is to reclaim my body with tattoos. And my chest area is definitely a place that I have done that as well. I have really disliked my chest, whether it's this part of my chest or this part of my chest, for a very long time. So over the last few years, I have been getting tattooed on my chest, and I absolutely love my tattoos. They make me feel so much better in my skin because I've been able to reclaim my body. And for various reasons, I have left the actual chest area clear, so that if I do want top surgery in the future, I'm able to do that without my tattoos being messed up. But in the future, I would definitely like to get all of my chest tattooed, because I just feel so much more me when I'm tattooed, when I have ink and art covering my body. Me and my chest have an on-off relationship. We love each other, we hate each other. But one thing I do want to end on, if you are a trans or non-binary individual who does have a chest, please check your chest. Even if you dislike your chest like I do sometimes, it is so important that you check your chest for lumps or changes or colour differentiation, because even though we dislike our chest, we have to keep up with our health care. And yes, I am talking about breast cancer here and chest cancer, because that is something that I think, again, isn't really spoken about in the trans and non-binary community. And I know this video kind of went from funny to like serious to kind of funny to kind of serious, but that's just how I am with my chest and talking about my chest and my experiences online. And that is all from me, folks. See you next time.